Climate change doesn't feel the same everywhere. It's not one single event, and it doesn't show up in one obvious way. Instead, it appears differently depending on where you live, through heat, water, food, storms, or even economic pressure. That's why understanding climate change at a global level isn't enough. The real impact is local. Start with temperature. In many countries, average temperatures are rising steadily, but what matters more than the average is the extremes. Heat waves are becoming more frequent, lasting longer and reaching higher temperatures. This affects public health, especially in cities where concrete and infrastructure trap heat. Energy demand increases as people rely more on air conditioning. Power systems come under stress. In some cases, outages become more likely during peak demand. So even a few degrees of warming can trigger a chain reaction. Next is water. In some regions, they're experiencing more intense rainfall and flooding. Others are facing prolonged droughts. This shift isn't random, it's a result of changing climate patterns affecting how water moves through the atmosphere. In flood-prone areas, infrastructure like drainage systems may no longer be adequate. Roads, homes, and crops can be damaged more frequently. In drought-affected regions, water scarcity becomes a long-term issue. Agriculture suffers and access to clean water becomes less reliable. In both cases, the system becomes less predictable. Now look at food. Climate change directly affects agriculture. Higher temperatures can reduce crop yields. Changes in rainfall can disrupt planting and harvesting cycles. Extreme weather events can destroy entire seasons of production. This doesn't just impact farmers. Food prices can rise. Supply chains can become unstable. In some regions, dependence on imports increases, making countries more vulnerable to global disruptions. So even if you're not directly involved in agriculture, the effects still reach you. Another major factor is extreme weather. Storms, hurricanes, wildfires, and heavy rainfall events are becoming more intense in many parts of the world. It's not necessarily that these events are entirely new, but their frequency and severity are changing. Stronger storms cause more damage to infrastructure. Wildfires spread faster and burn longer due to drier conditions. Recovery takes longer and costs increase over time. Coastal areas face a different kind of risk. Sea levels are rising slowly, but the impact becomes visible through flooding, erosion, and saltwater intrusion. This affects housing, transportation, and fresh water supplies. In some cases, entire communities may need to relocate, not immediately, but gradually over time. There's also an economic dimension. Climate change doesn't just damage the environment, it affects productivity, infrastructure, and stability. Insurance costs rise. Governments spend more on disaster response. Businesses face disruptions. These costs are often indirect, but they accumulate. Over time, they influence how economies grow and how resources are allocated. Health is another critical area. Higher temperatures can increase the risk of heat-related illnesses. Air quality can worsen, especially during wildfires or high pollution periods. Changes in climate can also affect the spread of certain diseases, particularly linked to insects or water. So climate change becomes a public health issue, not just an environmental one. Now here's the key point. Climate change doesn't act alone. It amplifies existing vulnerabilities. If a country already struggles with water management, climate change makes it worse. If infrastructure is weak, extreme weather causes more damage. If food systems are fragile, small disruptions become major problems. So the impact depends not just on the climate, but on how prepared a country is. And that's why the same global issue leads to very different local outcomes. Some countries face heat, others face flooding. Some deal with both. Some adapt quickly, others struggle. So what does this mean for you? It means climate change is not distant. It's not abstract. It's already shaping the systems you depend on: energy, water, food, and infrastructure. Even if the effects seem small now, they are part of a larger trend. The important question isn't whether climate change is happening, it's how it's changing your environment and how those changes will affect daily life over time. Because once you understand the local impact, the issue becomes more concrete, and once it becomes concrete, it becomes harder to ignore.